Good afternoon.
Yep, good afternoon, David.
How you doing?
Fine. I can't see
Good.
you coming up.
What's up?
You're coming up. I couldn't see you for a second.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Everything okay now?
Yeah.
Cool. This is the sound booth for the studio. I'm downstairs today.
Wow.
You had a chance to listen to the track?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I can pull it up right now. I don't know if you can hear it, but at least I can hear it.
Oh, I've heard it many times, so. But you had a chance to listen to it?
I'm doing it right now.
All right.
Okay, give me a second. It should be here. I downloaded it. Oh, here it goes.
Yeah, it wasn't too big.
Let me listen to it. I don't know if you can hear it while I'm playing, but I'll listen to it.
Oh, go ahead.
JoAnne. Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? It didn't matter, it was only this moment. Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? It didn't matter, it was only this moment.
I think the way I said why didn't I ask Kay, I think I need to say why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Put the emphasis on the word didn't, and it will fit the rhythm.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I say why didn't I ask, say that
JoAnne.
King Son.
JoAnne.
I like it. Yeah, you get something to rock.
Is that the whole thing?
Yeah. How do minimize these pages?
So there was one part in the middle where there was just 2 bars.
Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? It didn't matter, it was only this moment. Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? It didn't matter, it was only this moment. Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? Why didn't I ask Kay, what is your last name? It didn't matter, it was only this moment.
Yeah, it's over. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think?
Yeah, we're getting there. Absolutely.
Any reactions in terms of stuff you liked or didn't like?
I think where I said I need to say JoAnne many times so we can find a better JoAnne. I know I can do a better job than I did.
Well, I was gonna have Drew do that, so it was a female voice. I just put your voice in to have something there.
Okay. So Drew's gonna sing JoAnne.
Well, you asked her to at the bar, remember? And she was like, sure.
Oh, I want to do I'm talking about her. I want to do JoAnne, but I had some lines in each of the verses. I'm either Drew. I want to hear what Drew sounds like, and if she sounds perfect, boy, I use her voice. If not, I hire if I were the female to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's some verses, that's easy too.
Yeah. It's one line in each verse, like no man, it's no and for the E. And if you want to have what you call her go JoAnne. Maybe we can have her do that, and we can have both our voices at the same time. Or maybe our echo and her voice would be an echo, JoAnne, and maybe the second chorus.
Yeah, that's possible. If it's going to be yours, that's fine too. For that kind of thing, I would just have you do it a whole bunch of times and send it all to me. And
we pick the best one.
Yeah, and you're exactly right about the chorus. The way that you sang it only lined up with the rhythm of the track in a certain way, and I don't.
Why didn't I ask K? Why didn't I ask K? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something you'll have to just practice.
Yes.
When we get close, I'll send you the track with no lyrics, and then you can just rehearse against that as much as you like.
Okay.
Wow. And in fact, I could do that. And once we know that every section is the right length and all the rest of it. So that's the first thing that I'll add. That'll be your main homework for next week. Is we're going to talk through the lyrics today a little bit. Is to match the lyrics up with that track and say, I would like this verse to be shorter or longer. I'd like the bridge to be different, whatever, so that we get the final outline of the song done. Because then at that point, I can go through and add other instruments. There's not much point in doing it now because we'll have to redo them.
Yeah, once we get the vocals, we can add the saxophone and guitar. For the saxophone, I'm thinking the first saxophone will be playing on that line. It's been 33 years, or somewhere around that section, but so the saxophone really accentuates. It's been 33 years and a half since then. I'm still waiting, and I got a way to say the line where it sounds like I'm about to cry. I got a way, I play a certain song, and I say the line at the same time, and it can really put the emotion in the song. And then a saxophone for the final courses is the final courses of playing. The saxophone will play in the same way that horns plays in Jennifer Lopez the song "Waiting for the Night." And when the last chorus is playing, the last chorus is repeating, it has that horns.
Okay. We can probably work that in.
Yeah.
Work it into the part where you're singing.
Yeah.
And you just want to be a little careful. The saxophone will compete directly with your voice.
Okay.
I think. So what I would do is try to make sure that when the saxophone comes in, you're not singing at the same time. The saxophone comes in and then you sing a note.
Yeah,
or you sing a note,
absolutely.
But so that there's some separation. But
Yeah.
we'll worry about that when we get closer to it. And then I think, the saxophone can play some riff behind the next chorus, I think is what you're saying.
And for the second chorus, for the second pre-chorus, where I go JoAnne, I like to have Drew's voice JoAnne, either with me or maybe echoing.
Okay.
And maybe for her voice, instead of my voice echoing, her voice can be an echo.
So you sing the line and her voice is just the echo of your line?
Or either that
or is it doubled? I'm not sure.
Or double with me, but hers is not as loud. You can just get an earshot of it, but it complements my JoAnne.
Yeah, that's reasonable. We can do that.
Yeah.
So in that case, we would do that at the end. Just because she's going to match whatever you sing. And I think that would be easier than you trying to match what she sings.
And make sure she puts the emotion into it. That's critical.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So those are arrangement notes, but I don't think either of those will actually change the overall structure of of the track that I sent you.
Yeah.
let's continue to talk about that after you've had a chance to hear it, 3 or 4 times and think about it. And then also put the lyrics up next to it and make sure that it makes sense for you.
Yes.
It's only coming in at 240 right now. So I'm not advocating a long song. But it's right in the ballpark now, and so if you want to add to it, there's certainly room to add.
The bridge, I like the bridge part,
Well, the bridge is there. It's just very short because there's not a lot of lyrics.
Yeah.
You can add a breakdown or something else to make it more interesting.
Maybe after I sing the lyric words of the bridge to make it 4 bars long, you hear her win some vocals and not as loud, but as if they're being sung from a far away place. You have her JoAnne, or maybe you may have her sing something to like whoa. So,
those are all things that could work. Yeah. I would ask that you think about what it is that you want to say with that section.
Yeah.
Because there's a very deliberate intent in the bridge.
Yes.
And then whichever of those devices you feel best, enhances that. Let's go for it.
Okay.
Those are all things that can work. I'm ambivalent. I think. It is very short right now, and that's mostly because I was just trying to get something together so that we could, basically rip it apart.
Yeah.
So I'll plan on it being longer and go to either 4 bars or 8 bars from 2.
The pre-chorus.
The pre-chorus.
Is this only 4 bars?
What's that?
Oh yeah, the pre-chorus is 4 bars, and the chorus is 8 bars, and the verses are at least 8 bars.
4 because it's the 2 short JoAnnes and then the 1 long JoAnne, but the long JoAnne 2 bars long. So
yeah,
and yours actually were all right around 2 bars long, so you did a great job singing them. I think I had to squished one of them a little bit.
Oh yeah, JoAnne is supposed to be 2 bars long.
Yeah, no, it is right.
Yeah, Joe is 1 bar and Ann is 1 bar.
Yeah, so I mean, we could add. I think we could add, if you wanted to change one of the pre-choruses, we could add something before or after the short JoAnnes. I'm not sure we could add something after the long JoAnne.
Hello.
Unless it was a break of some kind.
How about
like JoAnne break, drum.
What do you think about this? JoAnne.
I think that's going to be a lot for the listener. I actually took out, I think there's only 3 long JoAnnes in the song right now.
Yeah.
And that's kind of deliberate. So hear me out on this. It is the signature. Well, there's 2 sort of hooks to the song. That's one of them, and the other one is the "Why didn't I ask her?" What was her last name?
If you got JoAnne at the very beginning of the song, there should be at least 4 JoAnnes in.
Well, I'm just telling you that in the lyrics that I sent you.
Oh yeah, okay. Not including the very intro.
There's 3 in the ones that I sent you, including the one in the intro. And the one in the intro says maybe. So there's 2 or 3. And that was deliberate because people will remember that.
Yeah.
But as soon as they hear it and it's 2 bars long, which is a long time, right? JoAnne. That's a lot of time. So what I'm saying is that you shouldn't have it in there 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, I agree with you. About 4 times
or 5th time, as soon as it hits, people are going to be like, I have to wait how long to get to the next part, right? And that's not where you want anybody to be. So
okay,
that's why I'm trying to keep it down. I'm open to throwing another one in or moving one around, but I think more than 3, I think might be
okay. Gotcha.
And doing them 2 in a row, that's I just think.
Yeah, I agree with you. 2 in a row, too much.
Yeah. I mean, if you've ever been in the car with a channel switcher,
Yeah.
I mean, I could just see somebody. We don't want somebody switching when they hear you singing JoAnne.
No.
And so it's got to be interesting every time we come into it, and it's got to feel like it's going somewhere immediately afterwards that people want to wait for. And that's on me to feel better.
Why didn't I ask, hey, what is your last name?
Yeah. Well, and that needs to also be rhythmic and catchy so that people want to wait for it to hit. Right, because when they hear JoAnne the second time, they're going to know that little rap is coming afterwards.
Yeah.
And so we want them to be waiting for it so that they can sing it at the same time. That's the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
Have people sing it. I'll figure out how to do some building up to each of those, but yeah. But I do think you could play around with stuff before and after the JoAnne, and you could do something like, if we have Drew sing one of them, you could use that one as a foreshadow or a pre-shadow or whatever.
And maybe so in the pre-chorus, I'm thinking if I can find some other lyrics that's just more than JoAnne. And maybe I could say something, man, I've never seen a girl so good, something like that.
Yeah.
Or something like, man, I never in a million years thought she'd notice me. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, this is something that has to sort of work with the whole flow of the song.
Yeah.
The pre-chorus is really there as a vehicle for you to sing JoAnne.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing in the pre-chorus that you might add should support that. If I add Drew's voice, it will be over something else. It won't be standalone.
Yeah, okay.
Because that would be the same as having you doing it twice in a row. The fact that Drew's doing one of them doesn't really make that different. But if you're doing JoAnne, the short ones, and her JoAnne is in the background above that somewhere, then it goes from her to you. That actually might work.
Okay.
That's something we just plug in at the end. But, I guess whatever else you put in the pre-chorus has to be really, really solid, because there's nothing in there. It's just her name. And it's going to have to repeat every time. So it needs to be pre-choice, yeah.
And maybe
that's what you should be working on this week is, those kind of final, those tweaks and making sure that things fit. Because like right now, I think verse 3 is not right. It's too short. It's short by one line. So there's some issues like that also need to get fixed.
And maybe find a way to make the vocals lyrics not so many, so that way you can add contrast between the verses and the chorus.
Yeah, like I'm working on another song right now, and I had to do guitar work around a singer.
Yeah.
But it's sparser than yours. So the singer, it would be like sing a line, guitar, sing a line, guitar, sing a line, and so I just made sure my guitars were always off the beat, not when the singer was happening, and then they layer together great.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of space in this song and some of that needs to be because you're singing it quickly and there's a lot of words. But, if you look at verse 3, every Friday night I come back, I sit down, I ask myself, did it really happen? That's one line. That's 4 beats. That's there's 2 words for every beat, I think, so I don't know how you're going to sing that. You may have to break it into 2 lines, which means
I'm here every Friday night since. I'm here every Friday night.
I know. I'm just saying that it's very long for the underline.
I'm trying to think of a way to shorten the line. I'm here every Friday night since, something like that.
Well, again,
Yeah. Okay.
Friday night I'm back sitting down. It's hard to, you can. That's the problem, is that it's easy to probably come up with 2 or 3 words or 4 words, but getting it down to a line that's 5 or 6 words long is not going to happen, right?
Yeah.
There's just too many concepts in there. that's hard for me to help with because these lyrics are really heartfelt. But if you need to just add more lines, add more lines.
Okay.
It's there's a lot of verse, right? Like a pop song would probably not have this much verse.
Yeah.
The other thing is that you could also look at the other verses and see if they could be shortened up, and so that you have maybe a short one in the beginning. That's a pretty common trick with pop songs too, is short first verse and right into the chorus, so that the chorus hits within a minute of the song starting.
Okay.
So that's usually what people are interested in. I think you would find it really agonizing to cut 2 lines out of verse 1, but I bet it could be done.
Okay, I can try to find them.
You don't have to. I'm trying to make the song that you want. I'm just trying to offer you some guidance along the way about what I think will or will help it or not help it. Ultimately, it's up to what you want to do and what I'm trying to implement your vision.
Okay, thank you.
So I do want to talk through the lyrics a little bit, and then, as I said, I think you should spend some time this week looking at the lyrics and listening to the tracks and figuring out how well things line up, so that we can just go point by point through it, and then I can adjust the track, excuse me, to get to something that's structurally set, so that we can move on and start adding better instrumentation and lyrics and all the rest of it, and actually getting the production done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Let's just talk about we talked about the first 2 verses. So unless you can decide you want to change something, when you're looking at it this week, but we haven't talked about the 3rd verse. So
Let's do that.
all right. I'm gonna figure out how to do a share again. Where's my...
Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom. Hey, Mom. She can't hear me. Hey, Dee. Hey, Mom, can you ask him if she'll preheat the oven for me? Hey, Mom, can you preheat the oven for me? Preheat the oven to 400. Thank you. 400. Gonna make my pizza after this.
All right, hang on one second. I can't share my screen without opening the system preferences. Hang on one. I did this last time, right? Was I just sharing I had it in Google Docs or something?
Okay.
Oh, we had a notepad open. That's what it was.
The man woman's here, Dee.
Yeah, let me just put it in the chat.
Is there a chat on this thing?
Yeah, it's the...
Okay. 3 bars. 3 lines.
Okay. You see that?
Yep, suddenly I could see beneath her angelic complexion.
So that format's kind of funny because the chat box is kind of narrow.
Yep.
But that is not 8 lines, that is 7 lines. And this is one where you had 2 different lines for verse 3.
Yeah.
And so I put those in an email to you and I said, here's what I would suggest, and it was this one, but in suggesting that, you only wind up with 7 lines for verse 3. So we just talked about the fact that the every Friday night line is really long. So maybe we just make that into 2.
Okay.
So I don't know where to break it. Maybe with I can't. Every Friday night I come back, I sit down. I ask myself, did it really happen? Because you've got a colon there, so that's the natural place to break it.
I come here every Friday night. I imagine what if. I imagine what can happen. I imagine what I want to happen. Something like that. I had to break it down because.
Well, you've got. It's now 8 lines. The problem is that the third and the fourth line don't really have the same context.
Yeah.
Suddenly I could see beneath her languid complexion the heart of another human being. So that's one statement. She wasn't any different from me. She said she had to go now, but she'll be back to see. Actually, that works. That does work.
Yeah.
It even rhymes. And so then tail lights of the Corvette. Every Friday night I come back, I sit down. Did it happen? I'm still waiting. So yeah, that works. I think it's still a lot of words, but again, you have to try it out against the music. Now, just looking at the bridge really quickly, and then what I'll do is just send you a copy of the final of these lyrics when we're done.
Okay. Thanks for the meeting.
There's the bridge. So the bridge is only 2 bars long, and it's only 2 bars long because this is actually not a lot of words, right? So, like, I still want to know, was she interested in me? Was she giddy? Was she tipsy? Did she forget me? Right? Like, no problem. That's 2 bars.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the opposite problem. So I just made it 2 bars long. But I'm not suggesting you make the bridge longer. I don't know. I mean, you could double it and make it 4 and just stretch these out, but you may have to work on these and add a little bit because it might be really sparse.
Well, was she giddy? Was she giddy? Tipsy?
Okay.
Giddy, tipsy.
Okay, so you want to draw out the giddy and tipsy.
All the words that rhyme. Giddy. All the words that rhyme with giddy, tipsy.
I think those two I think are the 2 2-syllable words.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't actually written music yet for that part, so we'll go to 4 bars and see if we can just add an extra beat or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's not too big a deal. So I'm sure I can get that done by next week.
Okay.
So
I look forward to seeing this song's progression.
Yeah, that's all I had. I wanted to talk about those 2 lyric parts we hadn't talked about and get your reaction on the track. So
okay.
Feel free to send other email as you think of things this week or over the week.
Track's starting to jam. The track's starting to jam.
Yeah, I'm excited to add other stuff. As I said, it's just tough. I know from experience that, if I go crazy now, I'll have to redo a lot of stuff to make it all fit later. So I'd rather have the final structure a little more nailed before I spend too much time. But honestly, the bass track is almost usable, even the way it is now.
Okay.
Anyway, it's in good shape.
Yes.
All right, cool.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
This Friday at 3 or 4?
No, at 3.
Okay, gotcha.
And if something comes up, I'll let you know. I'll try to give you more head time. Sorry about that. I was just out and got caught up in traffic.
Okay.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.